Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day regardless of the market sell-off. Looks like we lost our bull flag pennant pattern here. Let's talk about that just really quick before we get started. Unfortunately, when you come down at this point, a lot of times you'll see a bearish backtest of that descending trend and the price continues lower. So not a guarantee, of course, but it's a stronger probability now that we've lost that descending trend line that we're potentially breaking bearish here. Okay, so again, stronger probability of that, but still too early to tell. If we have a very hawkish meeting here today with the Fed, it could be a different story altogether. So welcome aboard if you're new to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link down below. I want to welcome, what is it, Moho, if I'm not mistaken? One of our community members here. Deeply appreciate you jumping on board. And obviously, congrats to our community members for some healthy profits on some positions for our Premium Plus group. Now, we are kind of pumping the brakes on our swing trades for the moment until the Fed meeting, kind of all the dust settles, so to speak. And I know some people are like, why aren't you shorting the market right now? Well, truth is, shorts are inherently more risky, and it's best to not get over crazy with a lot of short positions. Okay, they're just in general. You don't know what the market right now. The volatility is so crazy that, unfortunately, there can be some missed opportunities. But hey, life is full of them, and crypto markets got even more FOMO. So the important thing is to not fall into that trap and to FOMO in. Of course, hindsight's 20/20, right? So, anyways, take a look here at the last 7 days of liquidation. Everything to the downside is swept. There's nothing in the last week that has survived the market as far as longs are concerned. Unless you shorted the top at 65K or the recent top, then you would basically not be in profits if you're taking a long. However, if we take a look at larger time frames, we're going to look at the 1 month and possibly even the 3 month just to verify areas of liquidation here to the downside. We can see between 50 and 55,000, still a healthy amount of liquidation available there from the last month's worth of trading. Okay, so we got a lot of longs still left to get swept. Majority of them have been. There was a larger quantity at down as low as 57,000, but we could see 50K as a worst case scenario, just as a round number. We can reaffirm that probably as well on the 3 month time frame, kind of see what it looks like here. Pretty much the same scenario. 50,000 heavy concentration, 54,000 secondary, and tertiary to that about 56. Okay, so let's look at the charts and kind of see what that means here for us. Work our way down too as well, and just to clarify too, we had if I'm not mistaken, the monthly, we had a bearish engulfing candle here, effectively letting us know that all the profits from the month prior, back in March, are all pretty much gone. Okay, so anyone who got in between 60 and 70,000, I was one of those too for my spot bag, by the way. Keep adding to my position as the price goes down, essentially in the green on those trades, depending on how you took the trade, right? To me personally, spot bag is more so a long-term investment, so I have no problems with averaging my price down. It's perfectly fine. But on the same accord, is this going to recover? How is that looking? Well, let's discuss a quick couple of things and work our way down. To clarify, on the monthly, if we look at larger time frames, we can see we're below, or correction, above all moving averages there. Of course, we're going to be like that for some time. But the truth here is that we are starting to see a shift in momentum where the MACD is kind of diverging, letting us know we lost that momentous uptrend. Same thing here with RSIs. Everything's pulling back here, effectively letting us know that we've shifted down. Okay. Now, when we look at the weekly, this is the weekly time frame here, we can see RSI is still over 50, so we're not in a bearish situation completely, but we are trending towards that. We can see, of course, stochastic swinging down as well, and generally speaking, the weekly stochastic RSI is a very good indication of kind of where you're at. So we should be hitting our bottom in the relative near future. I'd say within the next couple of weeks, we should be bottoming out, but again, it's too early to tell, right? We've got a MACD divergence here, and there's a lot of reasons why the price action is more likely to continue down than up. So the price does end up wicking up, so to speak, get close to that 60,000 mark. That may be a good consideration for a short, because we'd have that bearish backtest of that descending trend. Either way, weekly and monthly are shifting momentum. They're not fully bearish, but they're getting there. Daily time frame is definitely on the bearish side of things here. Let's talk about this here. Let's go ahead and move to our other chart. I know it's kind of a little messy. I'll clean this up a little bit later, but a lot of these levels here are previous support and resistances. So I like to keep them on the chart just to give us perspective. So every blue line here does matter. They're typically weekly or daily candlestick closures in the recent past. Okay, so and we can kind of see here, there's a lot of accumulation here at this price point of 51,000. So in other words, we see some support and resistance levels there. We also got our fib level here too. Now this is a 0.618 fib at about 51,600. Keep in mind my fib levels are reversed, so we can kind of see potential upside here. But generally speaking, it's effectively 0.382 in reverse, right? So in general, when we look at this level here, 51,600 is a close approximate of that next area of retracement. That would be the likely bouncing point if the price continues lower. So do you short all the way down to that level from here? Maybe, maybe not. I would say the price does come back up and we hit that descending trend. That would be a good consideration for a short position, but we got to give it a little bit of time, right? Again, that's the thing about being a swing trader. You wait for confirmation. Sometimes you wait a while to get it, and it's supposed to confirm, and then it just instantly invalidates itself, right? So we got to be patient in that sense. It's okay to not be, trading a lot. In fact, I sent a post on my Twitter, Telegram, TikTok, and just kind of giving you a heads up that with the market volatility today, with Fed meeting coming up here at 2 p.m., that basically we get the results at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then 2:30 p.m. Jerome Powell gets up and gives a speech. Things get really crazy during that time. Okay, so a lot of times it's best just kind of wait until after to take the trades. But again, it just depends on who you are and how you like to trade. Day trader is a different story, but from a swing trading perspective, let's be patient. Okay, double checking this here. We are getting close to a bounce. I'm not saying this is a guarantee, but oftentimes when you hit either 70 or 30 on the R side, the price action will effectively reverse itself. Now, it's not exactly the case at all times. If we look at its history, Bitcoin has swung below and above many times, right? So by no means is this a guarantee. However, if we can confirm that we're hitting a similar level on the 4-hour time frame, we might actually see that bounce. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at there. Money flow index still maintaining itself, so a lot of people are trying to buy Bitcoin right now, but again, just generally unfavorable conditions here on the daily time frame. 4-hour, let's go ahead and double check this here as well. We can see a high amount of volume, so more volume increasing, more volatility. We can also see here too, and this is again kind of reaffirming the fact that we could see a bounce here in the relative near future. Price has been pushing down for so long that we're getting overextended to the downside. We've stayed at this 30 level for quite a few days here. I mean, we've basically been here for the last 24 to 40 hours, and that basically just implies that the price action shouldn't go further, but it keeps doing it, right? So is that a consideration for a short? Well, oftentimes it's not. It's usually a consideration for a long to be able to buy the dip and then continue higher. Now, that would normally be a good thing, a good strategy, but in this current market, you got to play it tight. So if you're going to be taking a long right now, we're going to have some tight targets. I'm considering some long positions here soon just because this overextended state that we're in. We get some, kind of hawkish or dovish news depending on how things work out today. I will consider some tight longs, right? But again, I'd much rather be leaning more towards a short at 60,000 the price were to come back up. And let me explain that too here just really quick so before we go any further, we got this, it's probably a little easier to see here on this. But we can see we got this descending trend, right? We had this price action consistently retested and eventually it broke, okay? So what that basically just implies is this is like a trend, right? This is effectively a range-bound trend. So even though it's a bull flag, it's kind of coming down a little bit. It's essentially a horizontal pattern, right? So we got this, the price action keeps bouncing up above and below, and it stays in this range. Once you break a range, oftentimes there's considered a bullish and a bearish backtest. We could see the price action come up here and do a bearish backtest, which would put us right at about 59,000, and then come back down to continue lower. That seems like a distinct probability at this point. But right now, between now and then, it would also make sense for the price to rally back up to that 59K mark because we have such overextension to the downside and everything is essentially exhausted, right? So we take a look here, TD sequential, we're at an 8 right now. We've been moving down for 32 hours straight, okay? You can only hold a flotation device underwater for so long, right? So that's kind of where we're at right now. Bitcoin is that flotation device trying to find its recovery. If we do see the price progress higher, 59,000 would be, take some profit between now and 59K. Essentially, that's kind of the concept. Last but not least here, we're just going to confirm Ichimoku Cloud is probably going to tell us that we still have every reason to not consider a long. Once again, if you do consider a long, tight targets. It's really all there is to it. And if you're going to consider a short, I'd wait for a slightly better entry so you're not shorting the bottom. To me, somewhere in the 59,000 range seems like an appropriate target for a short. Between now and then, you could hypothetically take a long to that level, but it's still a little early to tell. I would wait for the Fed meeting first before you do that, okay? And again, it's probably going to be one of those situations where like you're waiting for the Fed meeting, and then the Fed meeting happens, and it goes up here, and you're like, well, dang it, I'm gonna take a long. And they're like, no, we're gonna go ahead and kick your ass, and they're gonna push your price back down, right? So again, careful FOMOing too late. If you do end up, we get some positivity and the price continues higher, I still think a short is more likely to be successful than not. Again, that 51,500 mark, this low level of liquidity, I think is probably going to be the next target here now that we've broken that support level at 60/59K. All right. So what we got there, folks. Fun stuff, right? Thanks again so much for watching, and to my community, thank you for being patient. I recognize that we didn't catch all the shorting opportunities that we quote unquote should have, and I see some people barking about that, but I can tell you, folks, I'd much rather sit on the sidelines and miss tons of opportunity of profit to the downside than to have try to long the bottom or no, sorry, long the top, short or short the bottom. However you look at it, it's important to recognize that patience is okay, right? Sustainability is the important thing in this market. Not getting destroyed is a real thing. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. Thanks again for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have yourself a great rest of the day. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.